Hello, and welcome to Conversations. This is going to be a series of videos in which we will discuss a variety of issues that we feel like are important to us, and we want to invite you into the conversation. We live in a world, do we not, of electronics, where we post pictures, we make tweets, we send emails, and other kinds of internet means of communicating with one another. And we would like to do the best we can to promote the genuine give and take of conversation. Sometimes it takes an extended conversation to really understand each other. Sometimes you can do it briefly, like in an email, but we want to think about during this time the kind of things that we can learn from one another in conversation, maybe even extended conversations. Think about your work environment. You go to business meetings and you learn things there, and maybe that's more of a formal conversation that takes place. You have informal conversations with the people at work. You go to lunch with each other. You sit down at family dinners and you have conversations. And these are a few of the times that we learn things about one another, about what we believe, about who we are, and just a lot of things we learn in conversation with one another. I'm sitting here today in my home office, but every Wednesday night, we have a group of people that meets at our church building to hear a conversation, actually carry on a conversation in this particular case, about the Gospel of Luke. That particular conversation we tend to call a Bible study, but it really is a conversation. It's a conversation that we have about the text that we read. It's a conversation that we have with one another and trying to understand that text. We make comments, we ask questions, maybe we even respectfully disagree with one another as part of the conversation. It's kind of interesting, too. G.K. Chesterton always said that listening to tradition was a way of democratically allowing people who had come before us to have a say in what goes on in contemporary society. I think that's kind of an interesting way to think about a conversation that we have with people in the past. And that's a lot of what you do as well, because, in fact, whether we like to believe it this way or not, we are really products of the past as much as we are products of the present. So we'll kind of bring some of those things into the conversation as well. And we want to give you an opportunity to converse with both the text of the Gospel of Luke and with others in our conversation. So we're going to give you an opportunity every week, probably on Mondays late in the afternoon. I'll post another blog which will tell you something about the conversation that we've had. It will give you some questions that will cause you to think about what we talked about. And we would certainly encourage you, first of all, to read the Gospel of Luke. This coming week, we're just going to talk about chapter 1. And we would certainly encourage you, if you're going to do this just by yourself, to sit down, look at the questions, think about what we've talked about, join in the conversation by adding some comments to our blog. Or if you so desire, feel free, grab your family and friends and sit down and watch the video together, look at the questions, talk about it, and just join in our conversation about these things. If you happen to have stumbled across this video by just nosing around on the internet somewhere, you can check these videos out every week on two of our blogs. Our church blog is chathamchurchofchrist.org/news. That's NEWS. The other blog is my personal blog, roberttweber.com/TLC. It stands for the Lazarus Chronicles. But by all means, join in with us and check us out each week. We have one final word, however, that we'd like to kind of encourage you in this conversation. And that's very simply that be civil. Whatever comments you put up, we simply ask that you refrain from any kind of inconsiderate, angry, or disrespectful comments, because we want this to be a conversation in which we genuinely can learn from each other. I believe it was even Nancy Pelosi this week who made some comment about having some civil discourse in the political discourse that we have. And we're going to be talking about religious matters, and that tends to be one of those things that's also very much personal with people. They care a lot about their religious beliefs. Whether they believe in God or not, they have some beliefs that they hold very strongly. We'll do our best to respond to your comments. We just ask, even if you disagree, and we don't want to mind if you disagree, but just be respectful of whatever opinions are already up there. I hope this conversation blesses you, and I hope you'll tune in with us every week and join in the conversation on the Gospel of Luke. Thank you.